The Spanish Grand Prix usually doesn't bring this much heat, but this year, it was stacked. Triple header finale, hot temperatures, title fight wide open, and McLaren still flying. Even after the FIA's FlexiWing crackdown, they rolled into Barcelona like nothing changed. And for Oscar Piastri, after losing out in Monaco, he came into Spain looking for payback. From the moment practice started, he was locked in. Quickest in 2 out of the 3 sessions. Then qualifying, he dropped the hammer. That final lap put him over 2/10 clear of Norris, biggest pole margin of the year. The whole weekend just had that energy. Celebrities everywhere, the entire England football squad showed up. Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Saka, all hanging out in the paddock like it was Wembley. Lewandowski was there waving the flag, and even Terry Crews pulled up, vibing with the drivers before the start. And that was just off track. On track, we have a race that flipped everything upside down. Race day in Barcelona. Hot, packed grandstands, and the final stop on this triple header stretch. Everyone locked in, ready to see if Piastri could turn pole into a win, or if someone else was gonna shake things up right off the line. Lights out, and right away, no drama at the front. Piastri nails the launch, clean getaway from pole. That was step 1. Behind him though, Verstappen wasn't waiting around. Quick off the line, sends it into turn 1, squeezes past Norris and grabs P2 before they even settle into the first lap. Classic Max. Aggressive, sharp, zero hesitation. Norris drops into 3rd, Leclerc tucks into 4th, Russell right there in 5th, Hülkenberg, huge opener, gained 5 spots on lap 1, jumped from P15 to P10 before most people even sat down. Further back, the home crowd's homes took an early hit. Sainz started falling back almost immediately. Williams? Nowhere. Albon and Lawson already deep in the pack, fighting just to stay relevant. Not a great sign for them. Up front though, it was Piastri's race to control, and that was only the first few laps. The real chess match hadn't even started yet. But once the opening lap settled, it became clear this one wasn't gonna be decided by pure pace. It was about who played the strategy game better. And once the field settled, the real fight turned into pure strategy. And Red Bull? They tried to turn the whole story. Verstappen's side went aggressive with a 3-stop plan. Early stop, hard push, and for a minute, it worked. He undercut both McLarens, jumped ahead, and took control of the lead. For a second there, it looked like Red Bull might steal one. But McLaren stayed calm. No panic, no weird calls. Piastri stuck to his pace, managed the tires, and waited for Verstappen's second stop. And when Max boxed again early for his second round of fresh rubber, Piastri cycled right back to the front. From that moment, McLaren was back in full control. Piastri out front, Norris sitting comfortably behind. The big concern, managing tire life while cutting through traffic. But the speed was there, and unless something crazy happened, it was Piastri's race to lose. But of course, something crazy was coming. And just when everything seemed locked in, Barcelona threw its curveball. Lap 54. Kimi Antonelli pulls off with a mechanical failure. Safety car. And suddenly, the whole strategy board got flipped. Everyone drove into the pits for one last stop. McLaren, flawless again. Both Piastri and Norris straight back out. Still running 1-2. Zero mistakes. But Red Bull, that's where things got weird. They bolted on hard tires for Verstappen, while most of the field, including both McLarens, went softs. Max wasn't happy. You could hear the frustration coming through right away. The safety car peeled in with 6 flags left. A short sprint to the finish. Piastri nailed the restart, cleared Norris instantly, and built the gap. Behind him though, that's where it all started to unravel for Verstappen. And right after that restart, the race went from tense to full-on messy. First, Verstappen couldn't hold off Leclerc down the main straight. They made slight contact, but Charles powered through and took 3rd. Stewards looked at it but waved it off. No further action. Next up was George Russell. He went for the move on Max into turn 1. They touched, Verstappen ran wide, used the escape road, but held the position. That's when race control stepped in and told Red Bull to give the place back. Verstappen slowed to let Russell through, but as George came alongside, Max jolted sideways and clipped him again, right there in front of everybody. Stewards didn't waste much time after that. Verstappen got hit with a 10-second penalty and 3 penalty points. That dropped him from 5th to 10th after the flag. And now, he's just 1 point away from a race ban. Russell said it straight after. "I've seen movies like that in karting and on sim games, not in Formula 1. Even for Max, this one sparked a whole lot of questions." Now apart from that, while all that drama was blowing up behind, Piastri, he was already gone. Clean restart, no mistakes, no threats. Oscar controlled those final laps and cruised across the line to grab his 5th win of the season. Norris locked in 2nd for the McLaren 1-2. And with that, Piastri stretched his title lead back out to 10 points. Even after the FIA's Flexi Wing directive, McLaren showed they're still the team to beat. Calm, sharp, and fully in control. Further back, Hülkenberg quietly pulled off one of the drives of the day. He started way down in P15, gained 5 spots right off the start, and kept picking off position as others tripped over each other. By the time Verstappen's penalty kicked in, Hulk was up to P5, easily his best finish of the year. Isaac Hadjar kept his streak alive with another strong run in P7. Pierre Gasly followed right behind in P8 after holding off traffic all race long. And finally, Fernando Alonso. After a tough opening lap and a brief trip through the gravel, he clawed back up to finish P9. First points of the season for the home favorite, and you could hear the crowd loving it. On the flip side though, brutal weekend for Williams. Carlos Sainz finished outside the points completely, while Albon's race ended in retirement after a rough battle with Liam Lawson left him with front wing damage. Nowhere near where they've been earlier this season. But of course, after the checkered flag, nobody was talking about the winner. They were all talking about Verstappen. The penalty came quick. 10 seconds, 3 license points, drops him to 10th. But a lot of people weren't sure that was enough. George Russell didn't hold back after the race. He called the move something you'd expect in sim games or karting, not in Formula 1. And honestly, when you watch the replay, Verstappen clearly slowed, let George get alongside, then moved right back into him, right in front of race control. Max refused to give details in his interviews. Instead, he posted later saying it was not right and shouldn't have happened. Even Helmut Marko called it a serious misjudgment. So now, Verstappen sits on 11 penalty points. One more slip-up and he's facing a race ban. It just leaves the whole paddock wondering, did the FIA go too light? Should it have been a black flag instead? Or was 10 seconds fair enough? Big debate. And honestly, this one's gonna hang over the next few races. And while Verstappen's weekend went sideways, the title fight just keeps titling McLaren's way. Piastri's win puts him 10 points clear of Norris at the top of the driver's standings. That's 5 wins now for Oscar this season. And after bouncing back from Monaco, the momentum is fully back in his hands. For McLaren as a team, they're pulling away. The gap in the constructors is now 197 points over Ferrari. Every weekend, they just keep stacking up results while Red Bull struggles to stay consistent. Even with Red Bull's 3-stop gamble, their pace just wasn't there in Spain. Helmut Marko admitted after the race that they were around 3/10 off and only competitive about 1 weekend out of every 3 or 4 right now. And with Verstappen now 1 penalty away from a race ban, Red Bull's pressure isn't just on track anymore, it's in the steward's room too. So yeah, Spain delivered way more than anyone expected. We had clean driving up front, chaos in the midfield, Verstappen losing it, penalties flying, and McLaren walking away with another statement win. Now what do you guys think? Should Verstappen have gotten a black flag? Can McLaren actually walk away with both titles this year? Or is Red Bull still dangerous enough to turn this back around? Drop your takes in the comments below. And if you're feeling this wild 2025 season, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more race breakdowns, and stick around, because Canada's next. And with everything boiling over, you don't want to miss what's coming. Until then, cheers!